Hey everyone, what's going on? It's Scott here from Can Geek Games and Collectibles. And I'm just going to come right on and ask right now. Have you seen this yet? So yeah, of course, we're going to talk about Spider-Man Homecoming today. We're going to talk about what an outstanding movie that film really is. And I'm going to start off by telling you guys right now. I went to see this movie last night and I was not sure I was going to like this movie. And it's not because I don't like Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man. Spider-Man is one of my favorite Marvel characters. And that's on a relatively long list, I'll admit, because, you know, it's me. But I wasn't sure I was going to like Homecoming for the simple fact that this is the third time that someone has decided to try and reboot the SpiderMan franchise in less than 20 years. You know, previously we had Tobey Maguire and then we had Andrew Garfield and now we have Tom Holland. And anyone who knows me will attest to the fact that I was a huge fan of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man films. Tobey Maguire, for me, did an amazing job as Peter Parker in the first and second Spider-Man films. You'll notice I didn't say anything about the third one because the third one honestly was horrible. But I love Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. So I couldn't really see myself enjoying Homecoming because yes, I saw Civil War and I saw Tom Holland as Spider-Man in Civil War, but it just, I don't know, I couldn't be sure that this was going to hit the right chord with me. And you know what? It is nice to be wrong. Because not only did I enjoy Homecoming, but I'm going to go on record right now as saying this Spider-Man Homecoming has now replaced any other Spider-Man films at the very top of my list for all-time best Spider-Man movies. Tom Holland is Peter Parker. Tom Holland is Spider-Man. You sit there and you watch this movie and it is hard not to look at this guy and feel like he was born for this portrayal. Because he just did such an outstanding job. And you know what? If the box office numbers are any indication of this, then I'm not alone in that opinion. Because that movie brought in a respectable $117 million in revenue in its first weekend. That's fantastic. Now, if you guys are following Can Geek on social media, then on one of our social media feeds yesterday, you would have seen a comment posted that states that when Marvel and Sony work together, great things happen. And that has never been so true as when you look at Spider-Man Homecoming. Everything about this film was right. First and foremost, this was not an origin story. And that was perfect. Because in every previous Spider-Man reboot, they have felt the need to spoon-feed fans with the origin story for Peter Parker. Oh, look, kid on a high school science trip got bit by a spider. Oh, look, the spider's radioactive. Oh, look, Peter can climb the walls now, and Peter has these amazing abilities and spider-like reflexes, and after a while it gets boring, okay? As fans, we all know the Peter Parker Spider-Man origin story. We don't need to be told what that story is every time a movie studio decides to reboot a franchise. Especially when the reboots have been that close together, more or less. What was fantastic about Homecoming was all of the events in Homecoming are post-Civil War. All of them. You are dealing with a 15-year-old Peter Parker who has already been involved in one of the greatest superhero showdowns ever. This is a kid that went toe-to-toe with Steve Rogers, with Captain America, and came out on the other side. So they don't try to tell you an origin story in Homecoming. All of the events of Homecoming are post-Civil War. So thank you for that. As a fan, thank you. You're dealing with Peter Parker, who has now been placed back into his normal life and is expected to go about leading his normal life as if the events of Civil War never happened. You're dealing with a Peter Parker who is told to pretend to be average. You're dealing with a Peter Parker who wants to be anything but average as he navigates the treacherous battlefield that is high school. And if you're watching this as an adult, as a teenager, whatever, we can all relate, all of us, to not wanting to feel average. We can all relate to how treacherous it was going through high school, trying to fit in, trying to be accepted. Imagine having this phenomenal secret that you know would set you above everybody else, that would make you anything but average, and being told you can't share it. You have to pretend to be average. What would that do to someone? It would be incredible. You're dealing with a Peter Parker in Homecoming who is trying to win the approval of a pseudo-father figure in the form of Tony Stark. And on the subject of Tony Stark and Robert Downey Jr., prior to the release of this film, there were a lot of people online that were crying foul, saying, oh, you might as well call this movie Iron Man 4 for the amount of time that, Tony Stark is going to appear in the film. Anyone who has seen this movie knows that's 100% not true. They did a very good job of working the character of Tony Stark into this movie in very small amounts. This is not an Iron Man story. This isn't about Tony Stark. This is Peter Parker. This is about Peter Parker. Hence the title Spider-Man. That's it. Tony Stark is used very sparingly, in my opinion, in this film, and it worked beautifully. Spider-Man Homecoming, the title alone was perfect, because this is Spider-Man's homecoming to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And this is what happens when Marvel and Sony work together. Great things happen. So, let me know if you have seen this movie yet in the comments down below. Let me know if you agree with my rant that I've just gone through about this movie. And maybe answer this question up here for me. Do you think that with the success that Sony and Marvel have had bringing Spider-Man back into the MCU, that maybe it's about time that Fox started talking to Marvel about bringing the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and dare I say Deadpool back into the MCU? It is about time that we got to see the X-Men and Deadpool, for example, alongside the Avengers. We're long overdue for that as fans. So let me know, yes or no, this poll question up here, do you agree? Should be somewhere up here. Is it time to bring the X-Men, Deadpool, and the Fantastic Four back into the MCU? Guys, thank you very much for watching. Leave me a comment down below about this video. Let me know what we're doing right. If we're not doing something right, please feel free to do that, because part of the reason we're here on YouTube is to share our love of fandom with you, but it's also to entertain you guys, so we want to do right by you. If you are enjoying what we offer here at the Can Geek YouTube channel, please hit the subscribe button. Maybe tell your friends about us as well. And last but not least, if you are in the area this Saturday, I'm going to leave the link to the GTA Collectibles Expo in the description for this video down below. I hope you guys will pop by and say hello to us. We'll be there selling some new and pre-owned board games. We'll also be there with some collectible items for sale. We would love it if you came by and maybe said hello very quickly to us. You know, nice to see you guys. Other than that, thank you very much. And if you have not seen it yet, I highly, highly recommend that you get out to your local movie theater this week and see Spider-Man Homecoming. Take care, guys. Thanks a lot.